your boy Captain Mal here, and today I'm joined by...
What we do.
And?
T-Crawler.
And today we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones, the official series finale. So, obviously, spoiler alert, if you haven't caught up with Game of Thrones, we're going to be talking all the way up to the end. So we haven't really done a whole lot of videos covering Season 8 as of yet, but we're going to touch on the main things, which is pretty much spoilers. Dany torching King's Landing, and then the end of the show itself. So... What did you think of that? What did you think of Dany's arc? What did you think of all that?
Should we talk about kind of just the whole kind of feel of the season a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Sorry. Oh man, sorry. Swallowed a bug or something. Hey, what I felt from this season, though I didn't hate it. I felt like the main criticism I have about it was it felt like they were just rushing it to get it over with. It was like, this is our last season, we got a bunch of stuff we got to tie up, let's just get it done, get it out of the way and get it over with. The pacing was wrong and it seemed rushed. There was all these seasons worth of character development that they've been spent seasons and seasons and years doing. It was like, oh yeah, we took some time with that here. We're just boom. This stuff's over with now. And so it seemed like there was just these jumps straight into this battle we've been waiting for years to see. Boom, over in season. It was good, it was cool, but it was boom, over. Now, okay, we're gonna take over, battle in King's Landing, boom, it's over that quick. And okay, you go from this person who's been liberating people, the oppressed, and it's freeing people, and hey, if you want to be with me, you're cool, and sparing people, and being fair with people, to I'm going to kill you. Everybody, you're all dead. And I don't even really care if you're even get in the way and you're my army. It was a whole lot of just rush stuff for me. And we can get into it more, but I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I agree with you. Like, you know, it felt like it was rushed, and then I'm like, okay, is this just the series, or is it HBO in general? Because a lot of shows that I liked in HBO, when they get to their series finale, it just seems like that last season is mediocre or rushed.
True Blood.
Yeah, exactly. That was my first one, True Blood. Like a lot of people, I hear they didn't like the ending of Sopranos. I guess Boardwalk was kind of mediocre, but I did watch True Blood, and I thought that was True Blood. Now it's Game of Thrones. And who's the other? There's another HBO series. I freaking talked my head like that. I can't remember. But anyway, I'm like, what's going on with HBO? Like, I don't know. It was rushed. You took 2 years for 6 episodes of what? Like, see, I feel kind of wrong. Like, why did it take 2 years for you guys to do that crap? I mean, that kind of irritated me. 2 years for that. Like, you could have given us 10 episodes like every other season. We waited 2 years, and this is what you do. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, but I'm not gonna be like, do a petition. Shut your mouth.
I guess
do a petition. Do a petition.
So,
a petition to change the.
Yeah, because they're gonna listen to that. Yeah. So, yeah, I agree with both of you. Like, it feeling rushed. I feel like rushed is a weird word to use though, because they had at least 3 episodes that were just filler. Like, the first 2 episodes of the season, almost nothing happened. You know, they were good episodes, but, like, they didn't move any plot forward. All it was waiting, leading up to the battle in 3. Then 3 happens. And then 4 was an episode where, I mean, I know Missandei died, but, like, not a lot really goes down. And then all of a sudden, it's boom, boom, bam. So, that's where you're saying the pacing. It was very inconsistent. It was slow, fast, slow, fast, slow, fast. I don't think it was bad. Like, I don't hate the season the way a lot of people do, but you're also right, and there's a bunch of storylines and a bunch of like character arcs and threads that needed to get wrapped up. That, like, it's like they fucked off the first 4 episodes, and then they're just like, oh shit, hey, we gotta wrap it all up now. Which makes no sense, because it's like they had plenty of time in each episode. Most of the episodes were, 80, 90 minutes, so it's like, I feel like they had sufficient time. Just they didn't use the time wisely. You're right. My biggest issue though is with the White Walkers and the Night King and how that wrapped up. That episode was fantastic. The battle was phenomenal. Yeah. Arya killing the Night King came out of nowhere. But it was like, I cheered. That was great. Yeah. But then it's just done. It's just over. Like, the big threats, because whoever's on the Iron Throne, fuck it, that doesn't matter. Like, this is what matters. Like, the whole point of them putting everything aside and teaming up was to take out the Night King. and you never figure out like any of the Night King's motivations, any of why they're here, or what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
But my issue with that episode was like you find out Beric Dondarrion, like, oh, he was brought back, 18 times in order to get Arya here. Why the fuck was Jon brought back? Because he did fuck all in that battle. Like he didn't do anything. He served he was like Indiana Jones. Like he's just the plot happened if he wasn't there. And I also felt Daenerys like torching King's Landing. Like they make a solid argument that it's not completely out of her character because she crucified all the masters of freaking Marine, and she's done other very violent things. But I think it goes 1,000% against her character to just torch fucking innocent women and children.
Exactly.
That was like I get they built up her being mad with Missandei dying and the dragons dying and all that. I still don't buy that she just. I thought she would have gone right for the Red Keep and blown that whole fucking castle up. Yeah, I would have bought that.
Yeah.
Right. And like whoever died in the castle, fuck them.
Right.
I don't buy her back and forth torching King's Landing. I feel like that. The problem is now that you got rid of the Night King and Cersei died in a very anticlimactic way.
Oh my god.
Now all of a sudden, like we need Dany to be the villain, and if you had done this correctly and like shown her progressing into madness over a couple seasons, I would have bought it. But again, it's like, oh, into the episode, she's crazy. Now she's the bad guy. Rushed when like you could have.
It was like just overnight. It's like almost just a snap of the finger. She's gone from the way we've become accustomed to through this entire years and years worth of season to, okay, she's crazy, gonna kill everybody.
But the production quality of her torching the city, that was
awesome.
Insane sequence.
It was awesome.
The same thing with the battle. Fucking crazy battle of Winterfell. Go ahead.
Okay, with her torching the city, I'm like, I didn't think that dragons. I thought Michael Bay had something to do with this episode because when fire hits stone, it doesn't explode. I don't know why this stone. There should have been a lot of buildings that were still sitting there.
Dragon fire?
I mean, it
How
doesn't
much
explode.
experience do you have with dragon
It's
fire?
fire. Does it explode?
No, but I think the point
You
is
might
that
have jet fuel.
I think it's the force of the impact is shattering it. I think it's like getting the impact's very hard.
You ain't got no experience with dragon breath.
I also my big disappointment also is Jaime, his character arc. I didn't believe for a second that when he was leaving Brienne, he was going to go back to Cersei. I thought he was going to go kill Cersei. I would have even been okay with it if he finds her there at the bottom and hugs her, knifes her in the heart, and then dies with her because he couldn't get completely away from that toxic relationship. I don't find, but he just dies like a punk, kills 8 years of character development for him.
Can I point out one thing that for me is the most ridiculous thing from one episode to the next? That is one episode. You brought this up on our podcast about what sharpshooters these guys were. Where they're hitting everything from a million miles away, boom, boom, blasting the dragons down, hitting everything. Next day,
Stormtrooper aim couldn't hit
they can't hit a freaking thing if their life depended on it. Not a single one of them.
There's a lot of people that have that argument, and I'm like, okay, well, if you think about it, if you look how she came in on the dragon, she came in really low. When she was up on the wall, it was low. Those things if you look at it when they were raising them, they couldn't raise them to shoot as low as she was going. So she it's like she learned from that freaking dragon dying. She's like, okay, so this is how I'm going to come in at these guys because they can't move those weapons. They can't move the ships fast enough to keep up with me if I'm not just... Because the first time they were just cruising around the whatever, and they got shot. Like,
but then the argument to that is how come she didn't just circle around and torch them?
But there was so many.
Yeah, they were on
because she was just full of rage and she was going straight at him. I'm like, okay, now she's being stupid.
There was one scene that made sense. The first one when she's coming in from the sun, and they're kind of blinded. That's the one that made sense. Almost every single one after that. Because she wasn't just coming in low, she was getting up high and coming down and everything.
But they had to turn. As she was coming up under them, she came up high, but they had to turn. By the time they turned, she was on the other side.
But I just think that they're presented as like much more of a threat the last couple times we saw them, and that they can turn on a fucking dime, and like she's didn't even attack the ships after they killed the second dragon because, oh, these could kill me, but then there's 10 times as many of them, and she just wipes them out easily. And I feel like that's a portrayal thing. That's an inconsistency in showing what these weapons can do, because they're portraying them the first couple times, like you said, like amazingly destructive weapons that can take out the dragons, and then all of a sudden they're just taken out because she needs to be able to take them out because she's going to torch the city. You know what I mean? Like, that's the writing not being consistent.
Go ahead.
I
want to touch on what you said in the the battle with the White Walkers, like when Jon was running after the Night King, I thought there was gonna be an epic sword battle. That would have been awesome because then Jon would actually have contributed.
Something,
he would have done something.
Even if he doesn't beat him.
Yeah, I mean something, but no, they turn around and like a little punk bitch. He's like, oh, we raised all these dead, and I'll see you, and he just walks. You know, it's like, oh my god, seriously. So.
Yeah, he didn't do it. That was pretty baller. And at the end too, like, you know, I wanted him to at least, I didn't want a battle at the last episode, but I wanted him to fight Grey Worm. Like, I thought they were setting that up for him to have like a one-on-one against Grey Worm. Didn't do that. The Clegane Bowl was cool. That was total fan service, but like that was actually a well-executed battle, a well-executed fight. What did you guys think of?
Cersei just walks by and like.
What did you guys think of Bran? Them naming Bran?
Okay, so when Tyrion explains why he should be king, totally makes sense. I mean, you know, he knows, he sees the future, he knows our history, blah blah blah. Like that. Okay, that makes sense. The thing that pissed me off with this whole thing, you have a council of people, you have that. Why the hell are we told that he's Aegon Targaryen if we don't even say shit about it in the last episode? It pisses me off. Like, okay, you know what? He's not gonna want it anyway, right? But at least mention who the hell he is. Like his sister couldn't keep a damn secret, but she was the one who's real hush hush, right? You had Sam there, he knew who he was. You had Sansa who knew who he was. Tyrion knew who he was. Like, somebody can say something about it.
And that's what pissed me off.
It really pissed me off. Like, you don't even use that anymore. Like,
it like underutilized Jon because like the whole point of all of this show and all the book series is that he's the rightful heir,
right?
And they make such a big deal about it. And it's like, oh, he killed the queen, so now he has to be punished for it. I'm like, I'm sorry, if you killed the king or queen, now you're probably the king or queen. Like, well, that's what happened when Robert took over, that's what happened when Aegon took over, that's what happens when everybody takes over.
Not Jon.
I love the meme, though, when the Unsullied leave, and it was Jon saying about everybody, and they're like, oh, hey, they're gone, LOL, Jon, you can stay. But, like, that was dumb. It's like, he has the rightful claim, it doesn't matter, because she just killed Cersei, who was technically queen, and took it over, so it's like, that's not punishment. Like, they're trying to avoid a war with the Unsullied. I get that. Wait for them to fuck off, and then now Jon's king.
Hell, avoided by saying, hey, he's the rightful heir.
Yeah, and that's all that matters. That's called
like,
a claim. Like, it doesn't fucking matter who he killed. Yeah. Although, Jon going to live north with the wildlings, that is what he wanted.
Yeah, and I understand
so that was fine, so it was a fitting in for him, but I feel like we got shortchanged as fans, because you're led to believe he's the Song of Ice and Fire, he's what everything's about. And not that I necessarily wanted him to be on the throne, but I felt like he deserved better. No, I just feel like he deserved better than what happened.
Some mention of it, like he's not.
Also,
he deserved better than doing what he wanted to do.
Yes.
So at least be mentioned that he was the rightful heir.
I at least wanted it brought up.
I understand because he didn't want to be king of the north. He didn't want to be the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, right? Is that what?
Yeah, there's not even a Night's Watch anymore, but yeah.
Right, he didn't want to be that when he was, right?
Yeah.
When he didn't want to be that. He didn't want to be king of the north. He didn't want any throne.
It just
he wanted to live free.
It's not that I wanted him on the throne. It's that I felt there was so much build up for this character that both in the fight with the Night King and at the end, I expected a lot more with him, and I feel like they didn't do anything with him just to subvert expectations. Like the Benioff and Wise, the writers said in after the episode about the battle, they picked Arya to kill him because they just didn't want it to be Jon because they thought that was too easy. So I get subverting expectations, but sometimes something's a logical fit and you should just kind of do it. But I did like that he technically got the ending that he wanted, right? That's what he wanted, so I did like that. I love that the North remained an independent country, that Sansa held firm and she became queen, because she's going to be a great queen, that's cool. I think Arya going to be a world explorer totally fits her character, I think that makes total sense. I love the new small council.
Pirate Arya.
Yeah, I love that. I love Bronn finally got his castle. Not only did he get his castle, he fucking got Riverrun. He's Lord Paramount of the Reach, and now the wealthiest lord in all of fucking Westeros. He totally he made out like a fucking bandit in this show. So there were things in the finale that I did like. Yeah. I liked him, Jon knifing Dany. I thought that was cool. Overall, I wasn't disappointed because, like you said, how many shows go on for this long that end triumphantly? Not just this long, but how many series finales can you think of ended and you're like, fuck yeah, it's hard to wrap up a show because you have so much expectations. Yeah, especially a show like this, you have so many characters.
I was thinking about that too.
It's gonna be hard to make everybody happy.
Well, here's case in point. We have a cultural thing. People like to throw out the word millennials, which is kind of because it's part of this culture. But I know people my age that have this millennial type attitude where they think that everything has to happen exactly the way they want it to. And the problem that people think is they think if they didn't like this season, then everybody else agrees with what's going on in their head
Right.
and believes it should have ended exactly the way. Here's what they don't understand: is if what's going on in their head, if they laid that out and said, "I wanted," all the rest of the people, no, we didn't want it to happen that way either.
Yeah.
We want it to happen this way.
hear
So they think they got this whole group of people that agree with them.
Yeah.
No, none of them agree with each other. They just know we didn't really like the way that this ended this way. We wish it would have happened a different way. But here's the thing: art's art. Art is it's. When I was younger, there wasn't all these focus groups that they used to have where everybody had to get everybody's approval. You just did this thing, whether it was art, whether it was a picture,
Right.
a painting, whether it was a movie,
That's right.
whether it was you did it, and that's what happened. And people either liked it or they didn't like it.
Oh yeah, brother.
You know, but
That's right,
everybody thinks they gotta just have everything they want. That's not the way the world works.
Yeah, brother.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Well, you're right. So it's like anything on the internet. It's a very vocal minority.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks they have a voice and need their voice to be heard. No, you don't.
And I'm on the same page with you because I like it's one of the I already started working on the episode for what gets me heated because that kind of stuff really irritates me. There's petitions for this and petitions for that, and like social media is blowing up with this and that. And everybody thinks that things should be changed because they don't like the way it is.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
he hit the nail on the head. Dude, you can't do it better.
Right.
I can't write a better
Right.
ending
Like, you
because
write
they're
it.
better writers than
Exactly.
me. You know what I mean? Like I don't think I
I
can
mean,
do
back
it
in the
better.
day, we had to settle for whatever movie came out. If it sucked, it sucked. Or whatever show came out, if it just ended that way, it ended that way. There wasn't a bunch of, do a petition. They're really going to do, people for Game of Thrones, they want them to redo a season. Are they think they're really going to redo 2 years worth of work? I wasn't happy that it took 2 years, but I mean, they just did 2 years worth of work.
No, that's
you
not
know
gonna
what?
happen.
There's a petition, guys.
So what's the
throw this
point?
out and let's just redo it. Hey
Yeah.
guys, forget about what you just saw. We're going to redo it for you. Fuck, shut up.
I still think Game of Thrones is the greatest television show
I do.
of all time.
It is,
Yeah.
yes. I
Across
agree.
the board, because maybe it didn't end the way like some characters that I would have wanted it to. Doesn't mean it was a bad finale, and it doesn't mean that as a whole, this show's the most epic goddamn thing ever to grace my television screen. It's still my favorite show of all time. I love it to death, and I'm looking forward to going back and I'm gonna rewatch the entire fucking thing from start to finish.
So, are you excited for the spin-offs?
yes, I'm
I
very
am.
excited for this
Okay,
one.
I got a fun fact. We talked about White Walkers in their last podcast. You know, they've been around for 9 to 10,000 years, and they attack every single time the winter comes. They come every time. In fact, one winter lasted an entire generation, and they made it all the way down to Westeros and invaded Westeros.
You probably know that.
Nice watch.
He's like
I'm just
the Rain
telling you,
Man.
they come all the time. So
No,
But
that
they
was-
never make it past the wall though.
No. They were all the way down to Westeros. There was one winter that lasted an entire generation.
Yeah, that was called the
Back like
Long Night.
9,000.
Yeah, that was the Long Night. That's when they originally came. That was the Long Night. That was when they first came.
No,
For
there's
sure.
these winters last all different lengths of time.
Yes, they do. They last usually years though. Every winter.
Yes.
We're gonna do some research. We're gonna do some research. But yeah, so it's cool. But that's what I heard. The first spinoff was gonna be about the Long Night and
Yeah,
the first time the
that's
White Walkers
cool.
came. So that's exciting because I want to know more about them.
With when John was going up north, when the scene that was shot with how they focused on the plant that was coming out of the snow, and then they it kind of blurred and they went to the north, the wildlings moving north. I'm assuming that's just signifying that
It's summer.
it's,
Spring is coming.
Winter's over or winter.
No, winter just came. Winter's gonna last years. That's just a metaphor because the dead's defeated and life is growing back. That's all that was.
Could be metaphor.
But they come all the time.
Anyway, so yeah, I think
The
we're
White Walkers come all
I
the
think
time.
we're not totally pissed off about the Game of Thrones finale the way other people are,
Not
right?
totally.
No,
It's
here's
just little
the thing.
things that
Everything doesn't
I love-
happen the way you want it to. in
No, it
life.
doesn't.
And this is their expression. This is the way they want. This is the way the storytellers wanted it. So you just have to accept it. And just because you want it one certain way doesn't mean everybody else wants it your way either. So just accept it for what it is. Like you said, best TV show, and they're going to have a lot of spin-offs. There's going to be more story to be had.
Hashtag better than anything DC and Warner Brothers are doing.
That's right, brother.
Thank you for joining us in this episode of the World's Greatest News and Reviews. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.
Peace.